Welcome to our CFP exam prep discussion on estate planning, specifically focusing on different types of wills that frequently appear on the exam. Today we're diving deep into holographic, non-cupative, and statutory wills. Understanding their distinctions is crucial for both the exam and your future practice. Let's start with holographic wills. A holographic will is entirely handwritten and signed by the testator. Many candidates mix up the requirements, so let's make this crystal clear. The key characteristic of a holographic will is that it must be completely in the testator's handwriting. A common mistake on the exam is assuming that holographic wills need to be witnessed. In most jurisdictions, they don't require witnesses or notarization, but they must be entirely in the testator's handwriting. If any part is typed or written by someone else, it invalidates the holographic nature of the will. Moving on to nuncupative wills, which are oral wills made by a person who is facing imminent death. These are also known as deathbed wills. Here's where many test takers get confused. Nuncupative wills are only valid in limited circumstances and aren't recognized in all states. They typically require the presence of witnesses who must immediately write down the testator's wishes after they're spoken. The exam often tests whether candidates understand that nuncupative wills are generally only valid for personal property, not real estate. Statutory wills represent the most formal and widely accepted type. These are typically typed documents that must strictly follow state laws regarding execution. The key elements include the testator's signature and usually two witnesses who aren't beneficiaries. A critical point often tested is that witnesses must sign in the presence of the testator and each other. Many exam questions focus on scenarios where these formal requirements aren't met properly. Let's break down a frequent exam scenario. Imagine a question where a client has a will that's partially handwritten and partially typed, signed by the testator with two witnesses. Many students mistakenly identify this as a valid holographic will. However, because it's not entirely handwritten, it fails as a holographic will and must meet statutory will requirements to be valid. When studying for the exam, remember these key distinctions. Holographic wills must be completely handwritten by the testator. Nuncupative wills are oral and limited to emergency situations. Statutory wills require strict adherence to formal execution requirements. Another common exam trap involves state recognition. Not all states recognize holographic or nuncupative wills, but statutory wills are universally accepted. The exam might present scenarios where a will is valid in one state but not another. Here's a practical way to remember these concepts. Think of will formality as a spectrum. Nuncupative wills are the least formal, used only in emergencies. Holographic wills are in the middle, requiring no witnesses but must be entirely handwritten. Statutory wills are the most formal, with strict requirements, but the highest level of legal certainty. Understanding these distinctions will help you navigate tricky exam questions and provide better guidance to future clients. Remember, the CFP exam often tests these concepts through scenario-based questions rather than direct definition questions, so focus on understanding the practical applications and limitations of each type of will.